Hello and welcome to the Hounding Harmony Dog Training Podcast, the show that helps you go from chaos to calm with your dog, one episode at a time. I'm Emily, a dog trainer and licensed veterinary technician, here to give you practical tips, real-life strategies, and the confidence to raise a well-behaved, obedient dog without the overwhelm. Let's jump in and create a calm and connected life with your dog. Today we're talking about how self-doubt and insecurity is affecting your dog training and how we're going to shift that mindset, and also a practical tool to help you start to make progress on this ASAP. The reason this is important is because when you have a lack of confidence, it can lead to avoiding your training and letting their education really slide simply because it doesn't make us feel good when we don't think we're doing something right. It's really easy to start to wonder, am I doing this right? Is this enough? Am I messing my dog up? And you're completely not alone in this. I know this feeling well because when I was first starting to train my dog, I had seen all of the ways dogs could go wrong. I'd worked in the vet field for a long time. I'd seen so many behavioral issues. And a lot of behavioral issues, if you didn't know this, are because of the owner not addressing the issue. So I had put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I did not have a bad dog, especially as I was in vet tech school. I really wanted this to not be an issue for me. Unfortunately for me, I did not have the knowledge I have today, and I did kind of have a bad dog. He was about a year old and kind of out of control. So I was really anxious not to have all of these bad behaviors I had seen come to fruition in my dog. And this led me to feeling frustrated during training sessions. I had a lot of doubt. I was really inconsistent with the work that needed to be done. And once I built my confidence in the direction I was going, that's when I started to see big changes in my dog and my own behavior. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a few key mindset shifts and one action step to help you build your confidence in your training and your relationship with your dog. Now, you may be tempted to skip this episode because mindset work isn't really that fun, but I truly believe mindset is where it all starts. So I'm going to ask you to stick with me, listen to it. This episode's not going to be very long, but it could be moderately life-changing. Okay, so why do we lack confidence? Why does this happen? I believe a ton of it comes from social media comparison. We see a lot of great dogs on the internet, and it's really easy to forget how much of a highlight reel social media really is, as well as the way that social media is marketed. They label their videos with these really polarizing hooks, all because they just want you to watch the video. And they do usually have some really helpful tips in there, but also there's often a lot of right answers. It's kind of a gray area depending on your circumstance, you and your dog. Another one is information overload. This kind of also bleeds into the last one. There's so many methods and rules out there, and they don't apply to every single person or even every single dog. So we can start to question the path we're on because this person over here said that this wasn't the way to do it. This person over here has a completely different method. There's just too much noise. And the last reason I think this happens is we have really high expectations because in our mind we have this idea of the dog that we want. And it's easy to forget how many baby steps and even big steps it takes to get there, and we expect them to fulfill that position right now. And they're just not ready. At least this is what happened to me. So all of this results in inconsistency in training, doubt, and frustration, or even shame, which shame is not a very helpful feeling. If you're feeling shame, it's usually your brain self-sabotaging you. There's usually a lie we're believing, and it's not helpful. You probably know this, but you look for evidence in what you believe in, and if you believe that you are going to fail or you are going to make a mistake, you're going to keep picking up evidence that makes that true. But if you believe that you're going to continue learning with your dog and that you're doing your absolute best, you're going to see evidence of that positive truth. We need to turn the volume down on all of the extra noise and instead focus on these mentalities I'm going to walk you through. Mental shift number 1. You need to start noticing progress over perfection. Every time you have a training session, you're not trying to get a completely transformed dog. You just want to get 1% better. And each of those 1% add up to 100%. So say you get 1% better every single day, it's going to take 3 months. to get 100% better. Well, more than 3 months. But that's the idea, is that progress is slow, but it adds up. Make sure you're celebrating those small wins and are noticing what is improving so you feel motivated and excited to keep getting better. Mental shift number 2, you are your dog's best teacher. Even if you feel like you match yourself to the wrong breed, you can still make lemonade out of proverbial lemons. This just means you're going to be growing and learning right along with your dog. And that is actually such a blessing because it's like free therapy or free self-development. There's very few things in your life that you're going to grow as intensely as when you are training a difficult dog. And if you do feel like you have picked the wrong dog, I want you to delete that from your mind because here you are. This is your life now, and it is no longer a helpful thought to have in your brain. Now, if you are in danger or your dog is putting other people in danger, that's a different case. If it's just really hard, if you lock in for 3 months, you're going to see such an incredible transformation in your dog. You'll be so glad that you didn't give up on them. Now, if you are in this position as well, I encourage you to go back and listen to my episode titled The #1 Mistake Dog Owners Make and How to Fix It. The other reason you're your dog's best teacher is because your bond with your dog makes you their most trusted advisor. So focus on building a strong bond that is built on respect. You don't want to be a doormat for your dog. That's creating a very imbalanced power balance. Is that what they call it? Inverted power balance? I think that's what I was trying to say. You need to make sure that you have some simple boundaries in place so they don't violate your personal space, and you have consistent and achievable rules around your living space, just so that they can know what's expected of them and still be within that realm of comfort while still building this bond. The only reason I'm bringing this up at all is because sometimes I think people focus on being their dog's friend too much without any of the rules. And it's important to have those rules because respect is vital for you and your dog's relationship. For longevity, you are better for your dog than sending them off to a trainer. There's something called the law of natural diminishing returns, and when you send your dog off to a trainer, they're going to come back at the best that they could be, and as time goes on, without that upkeep, their skills are going to diminish. So it is better in the long term for you to learn how to train your dog because you're going to be able to keep those skills up without losing the progress. Dogs respond best to connection and consistency, and you are the best person to give them those things. Shift number 3, we kind of already talked about this, but learning is ongoing. You're learning alongside your dog. That's how it's supposed to work. Mistakes are a part of the process. View them as information and not failure. You tested something, it didn't work, we're gonna pivot. I want you to feel free to make adjustments as you go. You need to observe your dog's unique personality and what they respond well to. And the better you are at seeing those things, the quicker you'll be able to pivot and the faster all of this will go. Now, it's okay if this takes a while. This isn't about a race to see who can get their dog trained the fastest. This is just me trying to give you a cheat code to make it easier. There was a time where I had to look at my training methods and realize that my method was too hard on one dog where it worked for the other dog, but I had to watch my voice tone and my body language because my other dog couldn't take the pressure. She was like, "Why are you so mad at me all the time?" And my other dog was like, "I think you might start to be getting mad at me." So they communicate differently. They read body language differently, whether they're more sensitive or less sensitive. You just need to understand what your dog is reacting to. Are you being too hard on them? Are you being too soft on them? Find that happy medium. Again, we're not viewing mistakes as failure. They're just signals that we need to pivot a little bit. And our last mental shift is to filter your input. So be intentional about whose advice you are taking. Pick 1 or 2 trusted voices and turn the rest of the noise down to avoid overwhelm and keep you really clear on your path. It's okay if you decide to change which voices you are listening to, but it's more helpful to not know every single method. If you find that one person, what they are teaching isn't working for you, it's fine to go and research. But if you keep having this constant input to where you are not consistent with what you are telling your dog, it's going to cause a ton of confusion. Another thing that can really help you filter your input is if you have built a training plan. This is a service that I offer. I talk to you one-on-one, and we come up with a personalized training plan for you and your dog that is going to be manageable for your lifestyle. If that's something that you're interested in, I have the link in the show notes of this episode. All right, now we're going to get into our practical action step. Some of you are going to eat this up and love it, and some of you are going to groan, but it's keep a progress log or a journal. This is something they had me do in every single dog training class I've ever taken. It's important that you see the little progressions, and it helps you keep accountable, and it helps you see what method you're using, helps you look and see if you're having progress with it or if you need to pivot. So at the end of each training session, it would look like writing down what you worked on, writing down something that went well or an area you're seeing progress on, writing down something that you learned or that you think you need to adjust, and then finally writing down a small goal or your focus for the next training session. Another really easy way to do this is simply take videos of your dog's training sessions, maybe just like the last 10 minutes of it, just so that you can look back and see, okay, my timing was slow. Okay, he was distracted here. Maybe we should have ended a little bit sooner in the training session. Things like that. And then you can also look back at last month's videos and see how far you've come on the things that you have been targeting. So this helps because it's training your brain to notice progress, because naturally we're not going to see that slow, steady progress very easily. This is also going to build self-trust in your ability, and it's creating an upward cycle of confidence. We want to get more confident as we train. We want to continue to learn and gather evidence that we are capable of this. If this episode was helpful for you, please share it with me, because this is my own personal way of building my confidence and growing in this skill that is podcasting and teaching you how to be a better dog owner. So please leave a comment on the podcast, message me, comment on my social media, leave a review. I would love to celebrate any progress that you have. And one last note, confidence is built with action and not waiting until you feel ready. Thank you so much for tuning into Hounding Harmony Dog Training. If you found this episode helpful, it would mean the world to me if you'd follow the show and leave a quick review. This helps other dog owners find the support that they need too. For more tips, training help, and encouragement, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at HH_dog training, or you can check out the resources in the show notes. Until next time, keep hounding that harmony.